How do we do that? Dr. Colasanti talked about the concept of relationship among human beings. So this new model of person should include this kind of relationship. So I will allow me to ask the first question, because my first question is a very practical one and very naive, but it is, how do we start and how do we do it? Both of you can start to give an answer.
Luis. Luis, you have the floor.
Well, I think that how do we start? I think that it's a continuous task. The building this definition of person. It's not that one day we can say, okay, we just have the definition of person, let's work. I think this is an ongoing process. It should be an ongoing process, because as we mentioned before, and Naim states very clearly in his book, there are new things, unexpected things that we have to incorporate in the model. Not only in the model of a person, but in the model of a group of human relationships. So, but I think that is the most important, the most difficult issue, especially because for different cultures and also for different disciplines, human disciplines, in fact, consciously or unconsciously, we're using different models of person. So when we talk about development, it is clear that we consider economy, environment, health, education, but we do not consider the structure of the individual, even though even we take into account many social properties, many social conditions of the region we are studying, but nothing about the structure of the individual, of the person. This is urgent.
You want to make a comment?
No, just first, thank you, Luis. Great presentation. I appreciate it. It was fascinating. Carl Schmitt, a famous scholar of a politician, philosophy of politics, he said, he arrived at the conclusion that the only foundation for the polis, for the town, because everything can be run by technical people. For example, economy, you need economists. Health problem, medical doctors. And in every field, with the with experts, you can run a country. So what is the place for the politician? He said just the only thing that defines polis, it is the enemy. Because if there is an enemy, we have to fight together, and the enemy obliges us to be run by a more important power that coordinates all the other one to create the unity of the country. I believe that it is like the sin of humanity. It's like a sin. No? We speak about many times about the sins of humanity. Can you imagine the definition of society, of politics? We need an enemy to define ourselves like a group. Can you imagine this? For me, it is something really incredible. Naturally, what can we do? And we cannot go back to the ancien regime before. I believe that the solution is here, the solution. We need to think, we need to promote, we need to begin with a new style of politics, not just on the old words, freedom, equality. You know? And the most important is reflect. We are together to build up a movement on the concept of relationship. What does it mean, relationship? For example, what is relationship? No? If we are just in a market society, for now in Europe there is a discussion about if in England the prisoners can vote or not. If they can vote in the election, if they can elect the president, the democratic consultation, the prisoner, yes or not? It depends on the conception we have of the prisoner. Is the prisoner somebody that has connection with me? Fernando Rielo, the founder of of definition, but of course I'm here because Rielo Institute is promoting this activity. Fernando Rielo said that the principle of complementarity means that myself depends on the existence of others. It means that the other, even other in the prison, is constitutional of my presence here. And with concepts like this, we have to reconstruct, to rebuild up code of laws, code of politics. But we have to discuss, because this is a democratic process. But now the people only can pass from the rage to be angry, to be angry and hungry too, at the same time. Revolution or obedience to the power. When we will begin really to do something for the good of the humanity? That's not what I mean. I think that it's not just to say, or ancien regime, or we have to begin. The most important source of, I'm stopping immediately, to be humble. Humbleness, it is the most important virtue that can permit us to build up, not this, because we are in this building, United Nations. This building is very strong, very big, very tall, a lot of money. Is this building really changing? We have to change. The minds inside the building, our souls, our hearts. But we have to begin to promote something with humbleness and with a tender heart, and not with a revolution. To arrive to the truth, with direction and meaning. Maybe that is romantic. But on the other side, if I ask to each of you, what do you think about the humanity? You will say, people, they are too selfish. But it's not true, because if you say that you are selfish, and if I ask it to them, and they say you are selfish, it means that nobody is selfish. Nobody is selfish. So we have to build a politics on the reality. While the old style, they created a model on something that is not real, because it's not true that we are selfish. Nobody is selfish. I never met a selfish man. Maybe I'm a moron, a stupid. I never met. Maybe an ignorant with some small problem. Maybe moron like me. But selfish, close, I never met. So it is not true that we are selfish. But we have to build a politics on the reality, not on the utopia. Okay? Sorry for it.
No, please. Can I open, yes, the discussion? Please, if you want to talk, just push the button where there is the little man with the speaker, so we can all hear. Thank you.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing.
Yes.
Great.
I wrote out this question. How does your formula change if you say power over individuals and power over persons? How would that change your formula?
Well, this formula is something it's an oversimplification, as I said, no? Because we do not take into account exactly what Dr. Colasanti was saying now. No? What is the relationship, no, between individuals, persons? No?
Well, do you recognize the difference between the word individual and person?
Yes, big difference.
How would you define that?
Well, because we cannot understand person as is isolated, no?
Yes.
Individual is something very, very artificial. No?
It becomes a mathematical number.
Yes.
And it loses its uniqueness. We are unique,
yes,
as well as being a one.
of course.
Then my question to you is this: how does your formula change, your mathematical formula change, if you consider power over individuals, which is a oneness, a number, a mathematical number also, and power over a person, and a person who has individual dignity? Would that not change your formula somewhat?
I don't know how.
Put it differently, can you really express power over persons in a mathematical formula? That's the question I have.
Well, if you go to some models in psychology,